welcome to another episode of Sustainable Solutions with Planet Aid, the podcast that explores sustainable solutions for the most pressing issues facing our planet and communities today. I'm Planet Aid's Communications Manager, Haley Chitty, and I'm going to turn it over to our host, Planet Aid's Communication and Content Specialist, Monica Johnson. I'll jump back in later to ask a few questions. Monica, take it away.
Thank you, Haley, and welcome to Sustainable Solutions with Planet Aid. I am Monica Johnson, and I'm going to be your guide for this journey as we take challenging situations and try to simplify them. And it's also an opportunity for you to learn from incredible individuals and organizations at the forefront of developing and implementing sustainable solutions. Change is not only possible, but it's essential, and it begins with understanding. And, today we are in for a treat. Today, we're going to be talking to Wayne Elsey, founder and CEO of Funds2Orgs, the nation's largest shoe drive fundraising company. So could you share a little bit about this, Wayne? Welcome, by the way.
Thank you, Monica and Haley, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. We are in the shoe business. I've been in the shoe business since I was 15. I'm sure we'll dive into that as well. But we collect gently worn, used and new shoes, and then we ship them to developing nations to create jobs and opportunities. Our overall vision statement is creating opportunities locally to impact people globally. And that's what we do every day here at Funds2Orgs.
Wonderful. So let's get a little bit of information about you, because we know that you are the founder of Funds2Orgs, but your career path really progressively goes from a teenager working in the commercial footwear to management, executive level management in different businesses, and then becoming the founder of your own social enterprise. So that's really fascinating. The trajectory from selling and marketing shoes to helping to make footwear available to others. So walk us down this timeline of your career in footwear and explain what motivated the consciousness of wanting to help others through footwear.
Yeah, well, you've heard of Al Bundy. I'm sure I'm dating myself, but he's a shoe guy on Married with Children. I'm probably the closest thing to that. I've been in the shoe business literally for 45 years. Started off when I was 15 and really was going through a really tough time in my life. And I was contemplating committing suicide. And the thing that really held me back from doing that was my satisfaction of working in the local shoe store, my boss there, and then my school teacher that basically told me the day that I was planning this. She goes, "Look, you matter. You can do anything you want to put your mind to it, and don't let the world get you down." And 45 years later, I sing those messages. It's on my tagline of email. It's going to be on one of our tractor trailers coming up. Just you matter, because you never know where somebody's at. But I'm answering the question in a long way for you. But basically, the shoe business was something I've always done. I've had one other job, and I washed glasses at a bar because I wanted some extra money when I had to move it on my own at 16 and 17. But it's all I've ever done. And literally, like you said, I started off as a stock boy, moved up as one of the youngest vice presidents of Stride Right, which is under a different regime now. As well as other companies I was involved in up to Funds2Orgs in 2013.
And I love just going back to what you said about even putting these messages on your trucks, you matter, because you just never know where somebody is. And I love that actually helped you when your teacher said that and put you on a whole different plane as far as just going out there and wanting to achieve and knowing that you could do it. So I love that. And this is just very funny because I going outside of my my complex, it says, "Have a good day." And I really appreciate that because you never know, And so if nobody said it, my complex said it to me. So.
That's right. Well, and we're our worst critics. How many times you look in the mirror and say, "You know what, I'm a good guy." You say, "Oh, my hair's out of line." Well, not me, but you may say, "My hair's out of line," or "I had a terrible interview with Monica," whatever. But don't look in the mirror and really compliment yourself. And when you pull into my office complex, probably by the end of next week, you'll be able to see this big sign that says "You matter" on the side of our tractor trailers, which is going to be really cool.
That is really awesome. And it's a wonderful story. You never know when you look at somebody and you see the name, the big name founder, you know, you never know where somebody has come from. So I love that about your backstory. Why has footwear been such a mainstay for you? Because, like you said, it's been 45 years and you could have branched out anywhere.
Yeah, and maybe I'm lying about my age. Maybe I'm only 45 years old. I feel 45. But, it's just something that I did. I found satisfaction out of it. Again, I started off as a stock boy
Mhm.
in a chain of stores that was nationwide. Then I moved up and got recruited by Stride Rite and worked my way up with them over 9 years and just kind of catapulted. It was something that really resonated with me because when you put a 10-woman shoe on the lady and you tell her it's an 8.5, when her best friend is sitting there, she loves you and she's happy with you because she didn't want anybody to know she wore a size 10. So when you have that one-on-one relationship with somebody, just like Mrs. Bush had with me, my school teacher,
Mm-hmm.
those interactions, that human connection I talk about in my books that I've written in the past, that human connection is valuable to business and getting around a table and just what we're doing today.
Very good. So, Funds2Org serves multiple purposes. People are able to participate in helping others while supporting their own charitable causes as well through the shoe drives that they do. So, but it also offers a hand up and not a handout for those who are receiving these shoes in other countries. So, could you speak to the importance of these dual aspects of Funds2Org?
Yeah. So when I started the company, our plan was here. We ended up here, 12 years later. Funds2Orgs is a fundraising company. We
Mm-hmm.
pay people to collect what we want, and they earn money. So instead of a school having their kids come home and say, "Hey, mom, you want to buy a candy bar that has 487 calories in it?" Or $1. If you want to buy a magazine subscription you don't need, you could do that. But what we're saying is the schools, churches, civic groups, they collect shoes. We buy the shoes from them. And then we tell the story about the micro businesses, the reuse economy that we're using the product for in developing nations. And these are people that have nothing that are creating a sustainable business in their world, making a big difference in their life. I'll never forget when I had this idea back in 2000 and probably 6.
Mm-hmm.
I sent one of my previous board members to Honduras, I believe. I went to Haiti. We took shoes. I said, we're going to go sell these shoes and we're going to sit on the ground and basically get in the trenches to see how it's worked. My board member says, I'll do it, but you're stupid. I'm like, okay, well, tell me how you do after a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
After a couple of days, he called me and said, you know what? We sold 63 pair of shoes out of 100. I said, well, I beat you. I sold 80. So then that was the birth of what I knew as micro business in a prior life that's huge today with what we do and still have some of the same relationships around the globe that are buying our products today.
Very good. Why Haiti? Why did you choose
Well, I
Haiti?
love Haiti. I've been to Haiti many times. I was there right after the Haitian earthquake and really entrenched in the community and just have a love for those people.
Mm-hmm.
If you Google Haiti shoe man, I'll come up. I'm very well known in Haiti. When I went to Haiti so many times, the police chief would pick me up. I would never go through customs. And, now it's just a whole different story. We still have a local presence in Orlando because there are a lot of Haitians that live here that buy smaller quantities and take them or ship them down there. But the country now is just such unrest. So it's really changed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you discuss some of the most impactful projects that Funds2Org has been involved in and how these projects have been benefited communities locally and internationally?
Yeah, well, there's a cool story. We had a guy, I think he was like 22 years old. His grandmother wanted to raise money. He was a handicapped guy, paraplegic, and needed a new van. And they could not afford the money for the van. And Tom, our president of sales, worked with these folks. And she goes, I need to raise, I don't remember what the number was, 30,000, 40,000, something like that, dollars. And Tom's like, okay, what kind of army do you have? How are we going to sell these shoes? Yada, yada, yada. And they worked it out and they were able to buy the van. The other thing that's really cool to me is just adoptions. Adoptions are very expensive. And we have people that put up billboards for our shoe drive fundraiser so they could see the billboard. This family is adopting this child to help them do that. And the other thing that we really do that really is awesome to me, it's called Barefoot Sunday. Okay. And basically, we provide a complete package for the churches, including the sermon series that I didn't write, but a friend of mine is a pastor. And basically, we have people leave their shoes at the altar and walk out in the cold, in the heat, whatever. And the first time I did this, way back when in a prior life, I'm like, oh my God. The pastor even said, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Crying, I was crying, he was crying. People were walking to the altar, leaving their shoes at the altar, and turn around and walking in 100-degree weather out to their car. Never forget some kids' faces.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Those three segments there, the adoption, the issue with, what we call health medical division that we have, and then the entire evangelical world, as well as the schools that are a big part of our business, really round out and put a bow around what we do at Funds2Orgs.
That's great. Love the altar story. That's fantastic, and I'm sure that visual was just unbelievable to see all those shoes at the altar. So I almost said amen, amen. How has Funds2Orgs' mission evolved since its inception? Because it's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been 12 years. We just celebrated in April, I believe. Yeah, April. Yeah, it's 12 years. I should know that, but it's been a long time. When you start a company, the first 0 to 5 to 7 years, it's kind of like all over the place because your business model was here and then it goes here. And you learn by your mistakes, you learn by your challenges, you learn by day-to-day activity, you learn by trial and error. So when I started the business back in 2013, it doesn't look anywhere near what it looks today. What we've done is we've really focused in and said, okay, here's our vision statement. We create opportunities locally to impact people globally. Here's our core values. We demonstrate that and communicate that to all of our team on a daily basis with visuals around the office, etc. So the big challenge has been the 0 to 7 is kind of like what I call your figuring out who you are in the market. And then 7 and above is really where you define who you want to go. And then after 15, you put the icing on the cake. And you look at a succession plan and stuff like that for the future, that people that buy it, get it, love it, taste it, drink it, sweat it, eat it, everything, because they have to carry this forward into the future.
Very good. What do you perceive as the biggest challenge and the opportunities for Funds2Org in the coming years?
Well, the opportunities are unlimited. I mean, the more fundraisers we do, the more impact we can do globally, like you mentioned, the hand up. Through our reuse economy that we work with. The biggest challenge is just keeping up and just keeping focused, keeping focused on the core, what we do. I get approached every Thursday with a different idea, whether it be from the team, whether it be from outside people, whether it be from, customers, whatever. I'm like, I got to stay focused. We do shoes like nobody else does shoes. We want to be the largest in this space. We want to continue doing this. And in addition to Funds2Orgs, we have the Sneakers for Good brand, which focuses on running athletics, which has really become a staple and a leader with us as well. But it all goes back to, does it fit your core mission? Does it fit your vision under that umbrella? And as long as it does, I say yes. If it doesn't, you know what? Let's just pass on that for now.
Have you ever had those times where you kind of got distracted in a different way, even though it was something good to pursue, but yet it veered you off a little bit? Or not really?
I talked about in the beginning that you don't look at the mirror and tell yourself you did a good job. I looked in the mirror many times and said, why the heck did you do this? What were you thinking? What were you thinking going on this path when you knew your core competency was here? So the answer is yes. If I didn't say yes, I'd be lying to you. We've all made mistakes, but we move forward, we keep on trucking, and we make things happen. And always, I call it back to basics. Always get back to your vision statement. And does it apply to that? Yes or no, that's how you make the decision.
Very good. This is good. I need some note paper here. As you know, the name of our podcast is Sustainable Solutions with Planet Aid. So what would you say is the most sustainable solution that Funds2Orgs offers?
I think the entire reuse part of it. The reuse economy is huge. And not only is it huge for the people, but it's huge for changing the circle of poverty in developing nations. So, like, for example, I have a very good friend in Haiti that continues to operate today, very tough, but it's second generation. And that's awesome that the kids are saying, look, I want to do this. I want to get my education. I want to sell shoes, mom. There's a woman in Africa that I know that her place burned down and we helped her rebuild it. And she's back working now. There's people in Cambodia every day washing shoes that, just make a big difference and love it. And they smile and they're happy and they love what we do. And the biggest thing I have to do, I have to keep that pipeline to them. I have to keep their baskets, their inventory full so they can make a sustainable living.
Mm-hmm. What you've built with Funds2Org was probably not an idea that was very mainstream at the time, like we talked about. So how would you encourage someone with a very quirky kind of idea to pursue their idea to make a difference? Because a lot of people have ideas and, people can beat an idea out of you so that you don't think that it's worth much. So what would you say to that person who has that kind of an idea?
Well, I was going to interrupt you and just say, do it. Literally, just do it. I mean, to can the Nike phrase, just do it. This idea of doing a shoe drive fundraiser was not what I had intended. I went to a conference in Tampa. I live in Orlando. Went to a conference in Tampa, which is 2 hours away, for marketing. I own a marketing company as well. I said, you know what? I'm going to sell our marketing services to the nonprofit space. I learned really quickly they didn't have any money. True story. I get halfway home, which is Lakeland. I get a phone call from Haiti. It says, hey, Mr. Wayne, how you doing? I understand you left your old charity. Can you help us out and get us some more shoes? I said, well, let me see what I can do. I said, I've left there. I've cut my ties there, but let me call and see what I could do. I literally got home to Orlando, which is 2 hours from Tampa. Lakeland's in the middle. I get home. I take a shower. I get out of the shower, and I tell my wife, I said, you know what? That was a long ride. I said, in the 3 minutes that I was drying off, I think we should start a company. We should call it Funds2Orgs, and we should do shoe drive fundraising because we learned at the nonprofit conference that day that they don't have any money to afford us. We learned that the guy in Haiti was crying for more shoes and asking for more shoes, and we could put those two together. We can buy the shoes from the charities, from the schools, from the churches. We can then ship them to developing nations. We can keep them out of landfills, and we can employ people here at our world headquarters, which has about 30 employees today.
Wow.
From nothing 12 years ago.
Wow. That's and you thought of the name right there on the spot.
Well, I am very, you could probably tell ADD, but I'm very, my whole everything is marketing. Literally, my opinion, we're in the shoe business, but I'm in the marketing business. You're in the marketing business. Haley's in the market. Whatever we're doing, we're marketing something. What I'm doing is I'm marketing shoe drive fundraisers that can make a difference in somebody's life in developing nations, create opportunity for you here to make money, and then keep them out of landfills, and then employ people at our office here. It's 4 pillars of what we talk about and what we do every day.
A useful middleman. That's what I would say.
We're just like a middle guy. That's exactly right. Good point.
I saw a quote on your bio page that said, always look out of the windshield and not the rearview mirror. So my question is, after all these years of working to help others, whether through your social enterprise, through leadership, development, or marketing, is there an argument that you can permit yourself to look in the rearview mirror at this point? And if you do permit yourself to do that for perspective, what would you find? What would you expect to find?
Well, you don't have 3 hours for this interview. I mean, there's a list. I would tell you that in life, you got critics. If you're successful, you have critics. If you went this way, somebody goes this way, they criticize you. So in life, nobody's really behind you saying, Monica, go get them. Go get them. This is a great interview. Go get them, Monica. Go get them, Haley. Nobody does that. We have to motivate ourselves. So every day when I get a curveball or whatever, it could be anything from an issue with a supplier to a problem with an employee. We just had 2 deaths in our company over the last couple of weeks. And I'm closing today early. I said, look, it's Friday. We're going home at 3:00. Let's regroup. You guys come back in the first of the week and let's just have a great week because our company has been through a lot in the last 10 days. And I want them to know that we love them and we care about them as well. So my point is, all these things that people say, people write, people do, people that are just nasty, look forward. Don't even give them any attention. Look forward, keep on getting up with the pedal to the metal, whatever you want to call it, and just go forward. Now, is that easy, Monica? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It could be a broken relationship. It could be an ex fiance or whatever that's running the mouth. But you know what? Just look forward, look out the windshield, because you're not driving the car looking out the rearview mirror. That's actually chapter 12 in my book, Almost Isn't Good Enough, that I wrote in 2010.
Very good.
There's a whole chapter about that.
And actually, since you brought up your older book, tell us a little bit about your upcoming book. Tell us a little bit about what it's about and what you're focusing on these days.
Yeah, so I've written 10 books now, including a kid's book, which is about micro enterprise and reuse economy. And I was literally probably at a conference in Canada about a year and a half ago, and it wasn't even a textile or a footwear conference. It was a recycling conference. And people kept talking about the reuse economy. And I've always framed that as micro business, micro enterprise, just like everybody else has. And something told me to Google reuse economy. Reuse economy URL is available. Interesting. So I bought it. And I'm like, wow. I said, I'm going to write a book around this. So I am in the final stages. We had a couple setbacks, a couple adjustments we're making, but we're in the final stages because the market is evolving so much. We want this to be as current as we can, to releasing this sometime this fall, probably after back to school. And it's going to be all about the reuse economy. It's going to be about people that have made a difference with shoes, clothing, toys, whatever in the world by reselling them on the street. So it's really going to focus around that and how big this industry is that people don't even know about. People aren't even aware that when they drop something off in a Planet Aid bin, the fact that goes to help somebody create a job in a developing nation, as well as employ people with Planet Aid, is great. People need to know that. People need to know that those boxes, what we do, is really making a huge difference in people's life. In my case, with a pair of shoes.
First step in so many after they drop off in a bin or do their shoe drive. So,
right.
So, Haley, I'm sure you have a few questions for Wayne.
Oh, here's the tough questions now.
I'm curious. I'm just if you can give us a sense of the scale of this operation, and its growth. How many shoes, how much money helped fundraise, how many drives have you done? Any sort of just give us a sense of the scale of this thing.
Yeah, well, we are a private company, so we don't really release a lot of that. I would tell you that we do thousands, under 5,000 shoe drives a year, shoe drive fundraisers. I would tell you that 19% of the people that did a shoe drive fundraiser last year come back in the next 6 to 8 months and do another one. So they do one in spring, they do one in fall, which is really interesting data because we can count on that. And I would tell you that the future is bright, meaning that whatever we're doing today, we've gone from zero. We literally started this company at my house. My house was built in 1983, and every house that's built in the 80s had a desk in the kitchen. The desk in the kitchen is where the red chair sits, which mocks our logo. That's why I go for the red in the logo. I still got that red chair today. So my point is that we've gone from nothing to millions and millions and millions of pairs of shoes every year that are going around the world, that are coming out of Americans' closets that we're paying for, and they can go buy more and fill them back up because that's the consumer of today. And we are putting those to good use by employing our people, by keeping them out of landfills, and by the reuse economy. And the most important thing we do is we help people fundraise and make money for their school, church, basketball court, whatever, and we pay them for that. And like Monica mentioned, we are a silent middleman.
And so you're alluding to this, but you're really leading right into my next question is there's still plenty of room for growth. It's not like there's a shortage of secondhand shoes in the U.S. At this point.
If we could double our capacity on a yearly basis, monthly basis, we would still need more.
Yeah.
There are people knocking on my doors that want to expand. And, we're really not looking at expanding with new countries, new partners. We're in about 20 countries right now. we want to really focus on who we have and how can we become more beneficial to them. Because you don't want to be, my team will tell you, they've heard this 140 times, you don't want to be a mile wide and an inch deep. You want to be an inch wide and a mile deep, which is why we focus on shoes, why we focus on our supply partners, why we focus on our micro reuse partners around the globe.
And the flip side of that is there's plenty of demand in these countries, clearly, for these shoes as well. So growth on both ends is probably likely.
Growth on both ends. All I need is see more shoes. I can move them tomorrow. I mean, literally, it's like, if you got a truck you can bring, let me know. I'll meet you in the warehouse.
So that's a nice, segue into the next question. What if I'm, let's say, I'm a school,
yep,
and I come to Funds2Org? Can you just kind of walk me through, the services? Because I know it's a lot more wraparound support than just picking up the shoes.
Yeah, it's really a turnkey process that we have. We provide the boxes. We provide a marketing person that basically help them customize marketing for their shoe drive fundraiser. We have yard signs that say donate shoes here, and they can write in their information, boxes, display boxes, collection boxes. But the most valuable thing we have, in addition to everything I mentioned, is everybody gets a fundraising coach. So we're just not going to send you this stuff and say, hey, go collect shoes. We're going to send you this stuff. We're going to call you in 2 weeks. We're going to set up a planning call, and we're going to walk through what this means week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, because our fundraisers are right around 60 days, where the normal fundraiser in schools is 21. So in 3 weeks, we're over double that, so almost triple that. So we have somebody that walks them through every process. And even with the logistics part, the logistics team is in the sales and coaching team. They work together. So when Jim, who's been with us for 10 years now as a fundraising coach, says we're ready to be picked up in X, Y, and Z, he'll communicate that to our logistics team, which is three doors away from them, 3 desks away from them, and make that happen. So the process is not only from the beginning, the process is ongoing every week, every other week, phone calls, texts, emails, to really keep them engaged. And sometimes you have to motivate them. You have to really push them and motivate them, because they may get in a slump. They may, the biggest thing people have is they think they have this army of people that wants to make it happen. And you may have 10 people, well, 2 people show up. And they're like, oh my God, we want to raise this much money. We need this many shoes, but I don't have the 40 people that I said I was going to have. So the hand holding is most important in this whole process.
Yeah, discouragement is real.
That's right. Look out the windshield, not the rearview mirror.
And just one final sort of random question. I'm just kind of curious. Are the majority of the shoes you're getting are from American consumers donating their used shoes? Do you have any partnerships with companies, or, I know we're starting to see some EPR pushes in California. So I'm just wondering, are you seeing any opportunities there, or is it just individuals donating their own shoes?
Well, our core business is around, we'll call it Jackson, my grandson, taking his wagon around the neighborhoods. Look, I'm raising money for my school. We're going to build a new basketball court. Can you donate shoes? And he'll go through the spiel. What do the shoes go to, et cetera, et cetera. So that's our core business. We have people every day calling us and say, hey, look, we have X number of shoes that are closeout that are X, Y, and Z, where some of those opportunities will work with our partners on the ground to see if that will work for them. But it's not a big part of our business, maybe about 10%. The core of what we do is shoe drive fundraising from start to finish, like nobody else has done.
Cool. And just one more, I'll let you go here, but I'm just
questions ago.
I always have one more, man. As soon as I hang up, I'm going to think of one more. So, no, I'm just curious, with writing this book and looking at the reuse economy, if you can just give us an example of some innovation there that either is really unique or stood out to you as you did your research. We're always sort of hunting for those unique stories of reuse and sustainability.
Well, there's a lot of them. I mean, I do most of mine on more of an individual basis. So, I mean, the biggest thing I could give you is success stories that people have had in Haiti, in Guatemala, in Honduras, in the other countries that we do business in. There's a lot of innovation, though. And again, I do no clothing, so I don't really know much about that or profess to do that like you guys do and many other major players do. Ours is all about shoes. But I can tell you this, that there is enough consumed product in Americans' closet that once they donate it to Jackson, they're going to go buy another pair. And whether that's under EPR standards or recyclable standards, whatever, there's still going to be the core of the product that we can use in developing nations to create more reuse economies out there.
I love you putting that human benefit, how it benefits the human on the end there. It's always nice to put a human face on that. I think sometimes we forget that these are, really making difference in humans' lives. So appreciate
if
that.
If you guys ever come to our office, you'll see probably 75 pictures. And I'm going to tell you that 65 are people's stories. Again, the human connection makes all the difference in the world. You can't do things on Slack. You can't do things on email. You can't do things on text that you can do one-on-one with somebody. And that interaction with those folks that I've seen, that I've sat with them, that I smelled where they live, I got dirty, where they live, has changed my life forever. And I'll be damned if I'm going to go down without doing the best I can to serve these people, to help these people, as well as the other facets of our business, because those people matter, just like you matter and I
matter. We matter today. We do. Wayne, I did have one more question too, and then we'll take it back to Haley. But my question is, because when you look at, and we kind of asked this to Christy, your CMO, when you look at it, people would say that Planet Aid and Funds2Orgs are competitors. But what would you say to that? Because we're all in the same, in the business of helping people, in the business of collecting clothes. Tell us what you would say to that.
Well, I mean, we're not competitors. Our competitor is the person's life that we're making a difference with in the developing nations with the reuse economy. So if you can get them more product, I can get them more product. The other charities and organizations out there, social enterprises, get them more product. Great. That's what it's all about. Somebody asked me the other day, is this a competitor of yours? I said, no, but they should be a customer of ours. We should buy their shoes from them and do this facet for the rest of the world versus them doing themselves. So I don't really view anybody as a competitor. We're all in this for the same common goal. We're here to impact people's lives and make a difference in their life. And like I talked about, our opportunities not only locally, but globally, which really mirrors what you guys do, which mirrors what 10 or 12 other charities do as well out there.
Very good. All right. Well, we want to thank Wayne Elsey from Funds2Org for joining us on this episode of Sustainable Solutions. And we really appreciate all that you're doing for people and the planet. And we hope that you've been inspired by the ideas that we've explored today. We encourage you to search for sustainable solutions that you can pursue so that you can be a good steward in your neck of the woods and beyond. Haley.
Yes, thank you both. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said, just do it. If you got an idea, do it. Somebody tell you you're stupid, do it. Prove them wrong.
That's right. Doing global good out of spite. I like that. Well, thank you both so much. A few reminders to our listeners on the way out. If you want to stay connected with us and stay informed about the latest sustainable solutions, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. And please share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. Together, we can make a difference. And remember, change starts with awareness and action, so let's keep the conversation going. Feel free to reach out to us on social media, through our website, share your thoughts, ideas, and stories with us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, remember, it's a big world out there, but every small change counts. Together, we can build a better, more sustainable future. Thanks much.